Alrighty, so we got John Makdessi versus Ignacio Bahamondes. Alright, so I'm probably just going to call him Ignacio from here on. I mean, like, just obviously his last name's a mouthful. Can't really be screwed saying it every single time. So yeah, Ignacio, he's got a big size advantage in this fight. He's got a 7-inch height advantage and a 7.5-inch reach advantage. So that's pretty fucking massive. For this weight class. And yeah, Makdessi, he's nearly 36 now. He only fights once a year. He's done that for the past 5 years, I think. Since 2016, he only fights once a year. Alright, so let's get into the striking. It's the dumbest photo of Makdessi I've ever seen, man. Alright, so Makdessi comes in with that karate stance. He's pretty much nearly side on. His hands are a little, his hands are a little low. He's trying to bait you in and then go for the counter there. But he does have good footwork and he's pretty elusive, hard to track down, hard to land good shots on frequently. For Ignacio, he switches stance occasionally. He's definitely more comfortable than orthodox. He comes in with that forward pressure. And he seems to have a really good chin. He takes shots pretty well, doesn't seem to show too much damage or, concussive damage either. And he will set a good pace, so he's got all the ingredients for a good pressure fighter. But yeah, he's still got that length that he can rely on if he really needs to. And another thing with Makdessi that makes him kind of unique is that lead leg offense. So in the lead leg offense, he will throw the body kick. So when Bahamondes is in orthodox, yeah. So in orthodox, he can throw that body kick or be open. He can throw that inside leg kick. The side kick as well. That kind of side on stance opens up his side kick too. So, it's something opponents don't really expect too often. They don't spar with a lot of people that utilize a lot of lead leg offense, or they haven't fought many people that utilize that kind of style. So yeah, it is kind of unique. Well, it's not unique, but it's very underutilized in MMA at the moment. Not many people throw that lead leg offense. Also, when you come rushing in on him, he'll look for that counter 3, and then also the counter 2 as well. Alright, so for Bahamondes, he's got a nice teep to the body. He'll throw that in orthodox. When he's in orthodox as well, he'll throw the jab. And he will slide back and throw that counter 2 against smaller opponents especially. I think in his Contender Series fight, that's what he finished the guy with, was a slide back 2. But that could definitely be a good weapon here against Makdessi, who does look to close the distance at times, just to kind of, because he kind of has to, I guess, with his deficiencies in reach, especially in this fight. But yeah, Makdessi, he will lean over to his right to avoid power offense from orthodox fighters. He does that constantly. So he's, if Ignacio gets the read on that, he could switch up to southpaw mid-combination, throw a high kick at the end, and then maybe catch Makdessi when he's dipping to his right. But also, Makdessi will try and catch body kicks, so, you go body, head with your roundhouse kicks, and it could be night-night for him. But, yeah, something to watch out for, because Ignacio does have nice kicks. Alright, so how these guys win their fights? Yeah, no grappling here. I don't think there'll be any grappling. Alright, so for Makdessi, he has very good distance control, and he's got very good strike and defense. Like, he doesn't get hit clean too often. He's very elusive. I think it's about around 70%, which is his strike and defense, which is extremely high, especially for a guy that doesn't grapple at all, really. And he's got good takedown defense. He's very good at keeping it on the feet. For Ignacio, he's got a good frame for the division. Yeah, must have weighed in at welterweight for his Contender Series fight. Well, whatever. But yeah, he's got a good frame for 155, and he's got good striking at range. Alright, so how these guys lose their fights? Alright, so for Bahamondes, it's the striking tendencies when he gets pressured. So when he's on the back foot, He keeps his hands low. He's constantly looking for counters. He's very offensive minded. He can get pushed onto the fence. So if you do pressure him, he will. He does have a few holes that you can exploit. And a seasoned striker like Makdessi will definitely look to do that. But yeah, you don't want to let him take the front foot and start teeing off on you because he's very good on the front foot. So for Makdessi, how he loses is that he doesn't have too much finishing ability. So when he's down in fights, whether it's volume or just he's getting out grappled, he's not going to be that guy who's going to find a finish in the third round. He's more of a point fighter, so, if you are down, what's the game plan? Doesn't really change it up. But yeah, so if he does find himself 2 rounds 2-0 against Ignacio, I'd be pretty comfortable with that Ignacio bet. I don't suspect Makdessi to pull out a finish out of his ass. I don't think so. Alright, so how these guys... No, we just discussed that. Right, so pass to victory for these two. Alright, so for Makdessi, you want to pressure him onto the cage. You want to use feints to get him backing up, but also slow down the fight to make it more of a technical matchup instead of a brawl, which is what Ignacio will probably be looking to do. And yeah, use that left hook as a counter to the jab when he pops it out, because he does drop the lead hand. And for Ignacio, get him on the back foot. Don't let him... Or try and cut the cage off as well. Don't let him use his footwork. Pump the jab up. Just keep the volume up. Try and get him behind on the volume early. Also leg kicks, body kicks. Don't headhunt. He's very hard to hit in the head. So yeah, the leg kicks as well, that'll be a good weapon for you, especially in that side stance that he uses. Is very wide base, so it's kind of hard to check leg kicks there. Also the slide back too, when he's going to be closing distance looking for his combinations. And yeah, just the high kick that we were talking about before. So, when he's leaning back on that right hand side, look to switch to southpaw, land that high kick, or just, body kick, high kick. How I see this fight going? I think this fight will be solely contested on the feet. Both prefer, that type of fight. Both have a kickboxing background and generally beat their opponents in that type of fight. So yeah, Makdessi is very clean, he's very tight kickboxing, and looks to point fight, whereas Bahamondes is looking to pressure you, break you down, and ultimately knock you out. I see Bahamondes taking the front foot, as he generally does, and, Makdessi not being able to push him back without taking damage on the entry, so when he does come blitzing forward, I think Ignacio will be landing that too, maybe a knee, teeps at distance. Just very hard for Makdessi to get his entries and get strikes off, considering he's going to need to close the distance to make up that reach disadvantage he has here. But also, you don't want to be brawling in the pocket if you're Ignacio. That kind of gives Makdessi a chance. You want to be intelligently pressuring. So you want to be feinting him, keeping him on the back foot, but also keeping your distance. Just landing jabs, teeps, but also just those type of strikes that will keep him on the back foot. So I think Makdessi does make it competitive, landing kicks to the body and the leg of Bahamondes, especially with his lead leg. But I see Ignacio landing the same kicks, upping the volume on that as well. But also he's on the front foot. Also he's having more success with his hands. I see the 1-2 landing quite a bit for Ignacio as Makdessi is leaning back. I think Ignacio pulls it off, but it'll be a very competitive fight. I think I lean 55-45 in favor of Bahamondes. I'm not sure if he'll get the finish. He could definitely finish him. There is openings for a big knockout here for Ignacio, but I think it might go to decision. Alright, so right now, Ignacio is a 65% favourite to win. I think that's a little bit high. Obviously, he has the durability advantage and a big size advantage, but this is the type of fight that Makdessi is going to want. And he's fought a lot of guys like this in his career. So I think the value is on Makdessi, but I do think Ignacio wins.